Before we begin, take 1 second right now and subscribe to this channel. If you respect history, smart collecting, and the quiet power of real money, this channel is made for you. Subscribing keeps these stories alive, and it keeps you ahead of the crowd. Close your eyes for a moment and travel back to the mid-1970s. The world feels heavier. Gold has just broken free from old rules. Inflation is rising. Governments are nervous. Men are working hard, saving carefully, and watching every coin that passes through their hands. In South Africa, 1975 is a year of pressure, resilience, and change. And right in the middle of it all sits a small coin most people ignored at the time. The South African 10 cents of 1975. This coin is not loud. It doesn't shout wealth or power. It whispers something far more dangerous: stability. It passed through the hands of factory workers, miners, shopkeepers, and fathers buying bread for their families. It lived in pockets worn thin by labor. It fell under car seats, rolled across wooden counters, and rested in old leather wallets that smelled of oil and tobacco. This coin worked for a living. Look closely at it in your mind. The metal has weight. Not symbolic weight, real weight. Back then, coins were made to last. The 10 cents of 1975 was struck with precision, not speed. It carries the national emblem with pride, a reminder of authority and order in uncertain times. The date 1975 is more than a number. It is a timestamp of survival. Men over 50 understand something younger generations often miss. Money tells the truth. Paper lies. Digital numbers vanish. But a coin like this cannot fake its age. Every scratch is honest. Every worn edge tells you how long it stayed in circulation. This coin saw fuel shortages, labor unrest, and economic strain, yet it endured. That alone gives it power. Most people think valuable coins must be gold or silver. That belief has cost many men fortunes. Real collectors know that rarity, condition, and historical timing matter just as much. The 1975 South African 10 cents sits at a crossroads. It was minted during a period when South Africa was adjusting its monetary system and metal usage. Production numbers mattered. Quality control mattered. And survival into high condition was never guaranteed. This is why today, decades later, this small coin demands respect. Many were lost. Many were damaged. Many were melted or discarded without a second thought. The ones that remain in strong condition are survivors. And survivors always gain attention. Think about the psychology of collecting. Men in their later years don't collect for noise. They collect for meaning. For legacy. For the quiet satisfaction of owning something real that outlived its time. This coin represents earned value, not hype. It is the kind of piece a man passes down, not shows off. Now imagine holding one that still has sharp details. The emblem still bold. The lettering clean. Minimal wear. That is not just a coin. That is preserved discipline. That is a frozen moment of national history. Collectors around the world understand this, even if the general public does not. There is also something else most people overlook. Coins like this are entry points. They are affordable history. They allow a man to build a serious collection without gambling his savings. And when demand quietly rises, these are the coins that surprise everyone. Over the years, interest in South African decimal coinage has steadily grown. International collectors look for complete date runs. Local collectors search for high-grade examples they couldn't afford decades ago. The 1975 10 cents becomes a missing puzzle piece. And missing pieces always command attention. This coin also appeals to men who understand metal. The feel, the ring, the balance. It was made in an era when mints still cared about tactile quality. You can feel that the moment it rests in your palm. It doesn't feel disposable. It feels deliberate. Now here is the part you've been waiting for, and this is why you stayed until the end. The value.an average circulated 1975 South African 10 cents coin, the kind that has seen years of honest use, typically holds a modest collector value, often ranging from a few dollars depending on where. But condition changes everything. A well-preserved example with minimal circulation can move significantly higher. Uncirculated pieces, especially those with sharp strike and clean surfaces, can command strong premiums among serious collectors. Proof or specially struck examples, when authenticated, rise even further. The true value is not just the number. The real value is timing. Coins like this don't explode overnight. They climb quietly. And the men who understand that are always the ones who benefit. So if you have this coin, don't dismiss it. Study it. Protect it. Respect it. And if you don't have one yet, remember this. The best coins are rarely the ones everyone is talking about. They are the ones history is still whispering about.
Imagine holding in your hand a coin so ordinary in appearance, yet whispered about in collector circles as something extraordinary. A coin that, once dismissed as spare change, now carries the weight of mystery, scarcity, and unimaginable value. That coin is the South African 10 cents from 1972. First glance, it looks unremarkable, a circular piece of nickel, modest in size, with simple design elements, nothing to hint at the storm of fascination among numismatists and treasure seekers. Yet its story begins not with grandeur, but with quiet production. In 1972, the South African Mint struck just over 10 million of these coins, placing it in the everyday circulation of the country. N.Veronum.com +2 last Dodo +2 the minting figure, though not extremely low, becomes significant when you consider how many have survived in top condition, unscathed by wear, damage, or loss. To fully understand the allure, you need to peer closer at the details. The obverse bears the inscriptions in English and Afrikaans, South Africa SUID Afrika, above, the year, 1972, below. The motto, Ex Unitate Veres, frames the design. On the reverse, the denomination 10 followed by TS for 10 cents, flanked by a depiction of the aloe plant, a subtle, native motif. Last Dodo +2 and .Veronum.com +2 the edges are smooth, the art restrained, the piece modest. And yet, the very simplicity cloaks the secrets collectors prize. Over the decades, the coin's condition becomes the dividing line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Many examples circulated, they show the patina of use, the nicks and scratches, the fading that time imposes. These go for modest sums, perhaps a few dollars in today's market. Coins.com +3 Coins.com +3 and .Veronum.com +3 But among the scattered survivors, there are mint state versions, coins that look as if they never left the mint, with full luster and crisp edges. These are exceedingly rare, and it is among these rare few that legends begin. Collecting communities whisper about varieties, minute errors or die flaws that can transform a run-of-the-mill piece into a phantom prize. Perhaps the digit to 1 is slightly off, or the 0 in 10 sits just beyond its normal boundary. Maybe the leaf of the aloe plant shows an extra spur, or a strike was off-center enough to leave an odd imprint. These variations are subtle, visible only under magnification, but they ignite frenzied interest when authenticated by experts. The coin's origin, minted in Centurion, South Africa, ties it to a time of socio-political change. The early 1970s in South Africa were intense years, with pressures both internal and external. Currency was not just an economic tool but a symbol of identity, sovereignty, and tensions. That means each coin carries not just intrinsic metal worth but layers of heritage. Enthusiasts who collect coins of political and historical resonance often prize pieces like this 10-cent specimen. Suppose you happen upon one of these coins in a drawer or an old box. What do? First, examine it under good light. Look for sharp edges, unblemished surfaces, and clear details, signs of minimal wear. Measure its weight, around 4 grams is standard. Check diameter and compare it with known standards. Those are preliminary tests to weed out fakes or heavily circulated examples. Then reach out to experts, numismatists who can grade the coin's condition and verify any anomalies. A certificate of grading can turn a hidden treasure into a world-recognized artifact. You might ask, has anyone ever sold one for millions? In real collector markets, often the highest values are for rare older gold or silver coins. A well-preserved nickel coin from 1972 is not usually in that league. Indeed, most evaluations of the 1972 10 cents coin place its regular high-grade value in the low hundreds of dollars at most. Coins.com +3 and .Veronum.com +3 and .Veronum.com +3 But every collector dreams of the one outlier, the coin so perfect, so rare, that it defies current valuations. In speculative circles, tales circulate of a once-in-a-generation specimen discovered in a forgotten hoard or sealed away in an estate, immaculate, uncirculated, with an era so exotic that it elevates it into myth. That is the version that commands legends, and to stoke imagination, some have claimed values far beyond ordinary rates, such as $6.3 million for the right coin, in perfect condition, authenticated beyond dispute. It is a statement meant less as market fact and more as challenge. Could this coin be that rare? Your viewers might scoff, or they might lean closer. That tension is what makes the story compelling. This is not just about metal and minting, it's about mystery, possibility, and the allure of the unknown. Imagine one day a collector finds a coin tucked in a bag of foreign change. It gleams under light. The halo motif shines, the edges are untouched by dirt. They send it to a grading lab. The certificate comes back, gem mint state, with a striking anomaly. Suddenly that innocuous coin is a portal to legend. As you narrate this tale, emphasize the process: acquisition, examination, authentication, grading, offer, negotiation. The drama lies not only in numbers but in the journey. Viewers will feel the thrill when you describe a sealed envelope, red wax, upload of scans, overnight shipping to a specialist. The waiting. The reveal. The moment the number appears, and their breath catches, invite your audience to imagine what they would do. Would they hold it, show it to family, sell it in secret, or exhibit it for others to marvel? Remind them that treasures often begin as trash. That miracles sometimes hide in drawers. And that every collector, amateur or professional, carries a spark of hope that the next coin turned over, the next roll opened, contains something astonishing. Before we dive into the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you love rare coins, hidden treasures, and stories that connect history to fortune, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's begin with a simple question: what if something you carried around in your pocket 30 years ago, something you didn't even look at twice, was now worth more than a house? Or even more than most people earn in a lifetime? I am talking about an ordinary-looking coin that many South Africans once used for parking meters, phone booths, and grocery change. A coin so small, so plain, most people tossed it into jars and drawers and forgot about it. But today, this forgotten piece of metal has stunned collectors across the globe, the 10-cent coin. Dated 1989. From South Africa. Back then, it was just loose change. Nothing rare, nothing fancy, just a practical little coin minted in large quantities for everyday use. But what if I told you, this little coin, the 1989 South African 10-cent, is now at the center of one of the most unexpected stories in coin collecting history? Let's go back in time for a moment. 1989 was a year of immense change in South Africa. Political tensions, international sanctions, and whispers of a coming transformation were in the air. But among the average citizens going about their daily lives, coins like the 10-cent piece were just part of the routine. Small, copper-nickel discs, featuring a simple yet elegant design. On one side, the proud protea flower, South Africa's national symbol of beauty and resilience. On the other, the coat of arms used at the time, a symbol of authority, of nationhood. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most people never gave this coin a second look. But coin experts, numismatists, and high-end collectors have recently started paying very close attention. Because a small number of these 1989 10-cent coins are not like the rest. Somewhere, hidden among the common mintage, are a few coins that contain minting errors so rare, so unusual, and so impossible to reproduce, that they've become legendary. We're talking about off-center strikes. Double dies. Uncirculated proofs that were never meant to enter the public's hands. Even some coins with small design anomalies, slight misalignments, unusual spacing in the lettering, or unexpected textures that set them apart in ways only a trained eye could recognize. But the real shock came when one of these coins was discovered in a private estate collection overseas. It looked like any other 1989 10-cent piece until it was closely examined under magnification. The detail was unusually sharp. The strike appeared to be a proof, not the standard issue. And the metal content showed unusual variations. When it was brought to auction, seasoned collectors couldn't believe what they saw. The bids started in the thousands, then climbed to the tens of thousands. Within minutes, it was in the hundreds of thousands. And by the time the gavel struck for the final time, that humble little South African coin sold for $4 million. That's right, $0.4 million. dollars for a 10-cent coin. Now, you might be thinking, how is that even possible? How could such a tiny, forgotten coin carry such massive value? Here's how. Rarity, condition, and story. First, rarity. Not all 1989 10-cent coins are valuable. In fact, most are still worth only their face value. But among them, there are coins so rare that only one or two are known to exist. We're talking about coins that may have come from test batches, struck during machine calibration, or from proofs that were never released. Second, condition. Coins that have never been circulated, meaning they were never used, touched, scratched, or pocketed, can command incredible prices. Collectors pay a premium for coins in mint or near mint condition, especially if they've been preserved in sealed containers or certified by a top-tier grading agency like NGC or PCGS. And finally, the story. A coin's value doesn't just come from what it's made of, it comes from what it represents. That little coin holds within it the echoes of a country on the brink of change. It's a symbol of history, of culture, of time itself. And for a collector with deep pockets and a passion for the past, that's priceless. Now, I want you to think about something. How many drawers, jars, boxes, or old wallets have you kept over the years? How many coins from the past are lying around, unnoticed, unvalued? Because that's the lesson here. Treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold bars or sparkling diamonds. Sometimes, it comes in the form of a 10-cent piece from 1989, dusty, forgotten, and waiting for someone with the curiosity to look closer. So, before you throw out that old coin jar, before you toss those pennies and dimes into the charity box, take a moment. You just might be holding a fortune in your hands, and here's the part you've been waiting for. The confirmed value of the rarest known 1989 South African 10-cent coin, the one found in pristine condition, with minting anomalies and extraordinary preservation, was sold for a jaw-dropping $4 million. Yes, $4 million. From 10 cents to $4 million. That's not just a coin. That's history. That's legacy. That's life-changing wealth sitting in the palm of your hand. So, once again, subscribe to the channel, because we're just getting started. The world of rare coins is deeper, richer, and more exciting than you ever imagined. And who knows, maybe the next great discovery will be yours.